The Chinese policy of one belt, one road has in many ways been inspired by Chinese history in their strategies, location of ports, etc. How should India's history guide Indian foreign policy and global reach? That's an excellent question. So we have this great military tradition, philosophical tradition, strategic tradition of realpolitik. We have the Arthashastra that our great mentor and scholar Vishnugupt Chanakya wrote. The Arthashastra deals with things like foreign policy and dealing with neighbors and all that. And unfortunately, since our so-called independence, we have forgotten that something called the Arthashastra exists, and our foreign policy has been based on naivety and idealism. The geopolitics is all about realpolitik. It's all about temporary alliances and temporary enmities. There are no real friends or enemies. You have adversaries and you have allies. And these are all. This is an ever-changing state of affairs. So you need to understand realpolitik. You need to be realistic, and you need to be pragmatic and practical when you deal with geopolitics. Unfortunately, since 1947, our foreign policy has either been focused solely on Pakistan, and that too in a very appeasing manner, and we have ignored the whole world. Even today, our diplomatic corps is the smallest among big nations. We have at most 1,700 diplomats. The diplomatic corps of Singapore is bigger than this diplomatic corps of India. So India needs to learn from the Arthashastra, and we have, like I have just demonstrated in the preceding 60 minutes, we have had an immense amount of influence worldwide, and we still enjoy a great deal of goodwill because of our ancient cultural relations, especially in Eastern Asia and other places. So we can leverage that. That is called soft power. Now, power is mostly about hard power. People will not respect your soft power unless you can demonstrate real hard power. So that is one thing. India needs to demonstrate hard power. India needs to build up its hard power, hard military muscle, especially naval muscle. And it should reach out. There should be a great deal of outreach with the Eastern Asian nations, especially Southeast Asia, Japan, etc., where India still enjoys an immense amount of goodwill because of our millennia old cultural relations and genetic relations. So these are things that India can leverage and should leverage in our foreign policy. We had this look east policy, which was all about looking eastwards and doing nothing. Nowadays, we have this half-hearted, hesitant act east policy, which is not really, I don't really see anything happening. So India needs to expand its diplomatic corps. If India wants to be seen as a major nation, if India wants a great future for the country, we need a powerful diplomatic corps. And we need to have a great deal of outreach with other nations. And our strategies, our policies, our tactics need to be inspired by military history, not by realism or idealism, right? So India has an incredible geographical location. We are at the center of the Indian Ocean region, and we have access to so many choke points, such as the Malacca Strait and the Persian Gulf, and all that, right? And we have access to all of Africa, to Southeast Asia, to Australia. It's an incredible geographic location, and India has unfortunately never made use of that. India should have been a maritime nation. India was always a maritime nation for thousands of years, but after independence, India doesn't even have a proper coast guard. So my point is, India needs to look back, learn from its history, learn from the time when India was the most powerful civilization and most influential civilization in the world, and draw the lessons from there and apply them in today's world, because these lessons are timeless. These patterns of geopolitics are still timeless. The technologies may change, but human nature never changes, and certain patterns of geopolitics will repeat themselves over and over again. So it would be good if India were to draw guidance and inspiration from its history and apply the strategies and tactics of the Arthashastra and of our own great thinkers into foreign policy and geopolitics.